Welcome back to Stun Club Soda for the month of October. Everyone loves watching delicious spooky content in the weeks leading up to Halloween, but since I'm a serial procrastinator, I've got nothing sweet prepared. I'm sure my other homies have something planned, but really all I could think of that I was the least bit passionate about was something to do with the evil within. I thought maybe people would click on it, but it is a 5-year-old game. The sequel's 2 years old, and after the announcement of Ghostwire Tokyo, I am not optimistic for The Evil Within 3. You know, realistically, our videos don't really get clicks anyway, but I couldn't think of anything Evil Within specific to write about, so it's more of a jumping off point for this video. The first Evil Within holds an infamous but prestigious spot in the lineup of games that have seriously impacted my gaming career, and it's all because of the inescapable hell that is the self-imposed obligation to try to 100% most video games that I load up onto my Xbox. Are you telling me everyone doesn't do that? The Evil Within is a 10-hour horror game that I personally have sunk 115 hours into. Now I love this series, but the reason this number's so high isn't because I was clamoring for more Evil Within every waking hour of the day. No, it's because, you guessed it, achievements. And more specifically, all of the achievements. Achievements, the reason I keep coming back. This is the unofficial game that all Xbox players partake in. They play all their AAAs, AAs, and indies that they buy or get for free, but in the background of all of it is a point system that tracks specific tasks they complete and rewards them accordingly. These rewards add up to a player's singular gamer score, a public number used to track activity or for bragging rights mostly. The concept, starting back in the day when people still mailed things, was later popularized and digitized by the Xbox 360 in 2005, and has since spread to almost every other platform of the current age. But why exactly are achievements so popular? Enough to exist in the form of Steam achievements, PlayStation trophies, Uplay accomplishments? What are those called? Well, the answer's pretty straightforward. We as humans like to see numbers go up, so when we invest in something like a $500 console and $60 games to go along with it, extra value given back in the form of imaginary numbers is icing we get to eat along with enjoying gaming. It's extra value doled down to us by the corporate entity to lock us in and keep us around. There's a quote I like from an achievement case study that's so on point. As a group, gamers are known to take pleasure in fighting, circumventing, and subverting rigid rule systems, but also to be ready to take on completely arbitrary challenges without questioning their validity. And what are achievements other than an arbitrary challenge? They're completely arbitrary and unnecessary, but there are very clear benefits to justify their existence. Achievements, as much as they divide and pit gamers against each other in a clear competitive way, bring them together to take on a common goal in many cases. Sunset Overdrive was a great Xbox One game, but by the time I got around to it, no one was playing it online, and all of my gaming friends play on PC. I played the game through normally and went back for all the achievements I could, but there were some glaring omissions from my Sunset Overdrive record. It wasn't until Xbox One finally introduced Looking for Group that I was able to earn the remaining achievements with individuals in the same situation. Anytime before that, and I would have had to get on a True Achievements forum or something and find a booster or other people who didn't have the achievements, send them a message and hope that they responded. Or God forbid, I'd have to make a new friend and invite them over. Even then, there was no guarantee that they would show up or they would help me or they would stick around if they got their desired achievement before I got mine. In both cases. Looking for Group takes advantage of the achievement system and allows the users to create their own events essentially. My experience was positive and productive, and I even made a few new Xbox Live friends to play other games with. Community is very important to keep online spaces alive, and Looking for Group revitalized a few old games for a while and made them new again. And in the same way, achievements by themselves can make games feel new again, especially if the games have achievements that challenge the way it's played. These are always the best. The first time I play through a game, I take the scenic route. I play on the hardest available difficulty, I try to immerse myself by absorbing lore, and I don't look at the achievement list until I'm done. This preserves the purity of the playthrough because I know that I'll be going back 2 and 3 times afterwards. And when I go back, there's going to be a plethora of new rules and restrictions I have to abide by, all in the name of achievements. Evil Within is a pretty straightforward horror game, gameplay-wise, but when the levels ask you to complete them without firing weapons, it starts to get a little complicated. Then complication has to turn into creativity when you're tasked with completing the game without any upgrades. And creativity turns into downright craftiness when you attempt Akumu mode. Akumu mode is the Evil Within's last difficulty level, even worse than Nightmare. If memory serves, I think the actual difficulty of the enemies is survival difficulty, but the kicker of Akumu is how it mitigates damage. One hit and it's all over. Any type of damage dealt to Sebastian, big or small, will make him drop to his knees, dead from the shock of actually being touched. Completing the game like this is a bit of a bitch. In fact, of the 40,000 gamers on True Achievements that own this game, only 1,000 of them have gotten this achievement. That's almost 3% of the people who own the game and have actively registered on TrueAchievements.com that looked at Akumu and said, "Challenge accepted." It was an experience that I spread out over many months, and I'm very proud that I finally accomplished my goal. It was the last thing I needed to do so that I could finally start the pretty solid Kidman and Executioner DLC. Actually, I had to finish that on Kuriyami mode, which gets rid of all light sources in the DLC. It's another great mode that forces you to play differently since the game is essentially pitch black unless Julie shines her flashlight at something. It was really fun and a satisfying reward for completing Akumu. Akumu was a long haul that deepened my appreciation for the evil within based on hours dedicated alone. When you spend enough time in something, doing something, a connection will develop. And it doesn't hurt that I share the experience with my friends as I screen share my game with 4 to 5 of them at any given time, so that they could share in my glorious experience. It's one of those legend has it deals. We were all there, we all remember the relief of finally seeing the credits roll after I defeated Ruvik and escaped Stem. It was like taking the biggest shit of my life and it felt great. We all remember that. And we all remember all the frustration that led up to that moment of pure ecstasy. Because it was frustrating. That's something that comes with the territory of completing games. You have to do everything the game asks of you, good or bad, fun or disgustingly tedious. The Evil Within had its moments that made me want to throw my controller through a window. And that was most of it. But I think the frustration stemmed from how doable everything was. I could see what I had to do because I'd done it before. But there would be something slightly off about my execution that will result in me getting touched. It was infuriating, but I stayed the course because there was an end in sight. I'd say it's pretty easy to work toward a goal when you can see, reach out, and touch the reward. Achievements have a guaranteed gratification that will repay your effort. But the exact reward isn't always justified by the effort when churning out gamerscore. In my Call of Duty days, I would always play the campaign on the hardest difficulty, and that lasted until I made it to Black Ops 3. This is the year when they introduced realistic mode, or what I call it, fucking cheating. The difficulty wasn't the problem. I was used to hunkering down, avoiding grenades, and stealing headshots when I could, but Black Ops 3 put the player in awful situations. It's legitimately angering. Not frustrating, because it's not fair enough to be frustrating. It was enough to turn me off to the franchise as a whole. It's because the campaign wasn't balanced for realistic. They boosted all the sliders and tacked it on as a difficulty setting. It was a pretty maddening experience for a measly 50 gamerscore. I didn't have to play Black Ops 3 on realistic, but I wanted to. In the beginning at least. It's a prison that I've made for myself. I've escaped the COD part of that prison, but I'm still well trapped. There are games I've yet to start because I haven't 100% of their predecessors. That's a pretty small list, but I can't play Dead Space 3 or Banner Saga 3 because I don't feel like getting the last few achievements in the games that came before right now. I gatekeep myself, and that's not always fun. What is it about 3s that give me so much trouble? I don't know, but with this cage does come a freedom on the flip side. When that last achievement ticks over on a job well done, you're free. Free to do whatever you want. In the case of a game I grow to hate, I never have to look at it again. The book is closed on it forever. And in the case of a game that I love, I'm free to play it to my heart's content. I can have fun without the need to play around challenges and the metagame of daily quests and monthly tasks. I can do what I want. Only when you 100% a game can you truly play it. And that is a gift so valuable that you can't pass it up. Unless you don't care about achievements at all, in which case I really envy you. How do you feel about that? Am I completely off base here? I don't think so, but let me know down in the comments. I hope you had a good time listening to me jab about achievements, and I hope you'll come back for more. So before you take that huge dump of relief, like this video, subscribe to Stunt Club Soda. But first, have a good day.